Call this beat Will Smith, cause it slaps hard. Hear it not when I pull up on your boulevard.
I got a comment here from somebody. He says, what advice do you have for introverts to improve their self-awareness, the ability to recognize and understand your own thoughts, feelings, and emotions while dating? Well, that is its own lifelong journey. But I will say this, is that I've always had what people call abstract reasoning, meaning I've always been consistently thinking outside the box and thinking about how my actions impede other people's responses and their energies, you know? So it's like, because it's almost like this, right? As an introvert, when I'm with people, I'm already looking at like, okay, I'm around people. And so I already got to like use some of my energy to be around people. How can I effectively use that energy? Let's look at this person over here. What are they talking about? What do they look like they're into right now? Okay, I got to go have that conversation. I can tell from this thing they're saying that they want to talk about this thing. So I'll talk about this. So they're interested in this. So I'll talk about this. Or they look kind of sad today. So I can go over there now and figure out what to say to cheer them up. Like I have that ability, right? So as an introvert, or just a guy in general, right? What happens is this, is that we have to understand that as men, the way we process things and the way we go about the world is dramatically different from the way that women do that, right? And so I think both sexes do a bad job at this, is that we know how we perceive the world and how we interact within the world. And then we project that onto other people as if that should be their world. Or we have a specific background that we came from, and based on that background, we view things in life a certain way. So then we get into relationships and assume that other person is going to view things the way we do, and they're going to operate the way we do. They're going to have the same opinions as us because our logic took us to how we act and how we think about things. So they probably had that same logic and came to that same conclusion. And it is dramatically different. You know what? The perfect example of this is, I've been playing a lot of The Legend of Zelda, right? The new one, the Tears of the Kingdom. Think about this, right? Based on how you've grown up in playing Zelda, there are going to be a plethora of ways you can go about doing any task. There can be a bad guy where one person's going to try to hit it with a sword. Another person's going to throw a boomerang at it. Another person's going to take the Zonai pieces and try to build a machine that's going to like shoot at this thing, right? None of these ways of beating this boss is wrong, but they are all dramatically different. And the problem most dudes has is they're going to be like, well, I beat this bad guy with the sword. Therefore, this girl over here, if she's playing the game, she needs to beat him with the sword. And she might be like, but I have a different way of doing that. And the guy's like, oh, you hurt my feelings. How dare you not beat him with the sword? I beat it with the sword. Why is that not good enough for you? And that's how guys go about dating. They think that if a woman's not responding the same way that they would, or takes a little bit more time than they would need to try to, build up feelings, that they need to just give it up, or the woman's playing games, or she's crazy. She doesn't know what she wants. And so what guys have to be aware of is that there's going to be moments in time where you're going to say, for example, let's go back to I love Zelda. So let's go back to the Zelda example, right? You're going to say to your girl, hey, I beat this bad guy with this sword. You should use the sword. And then she's going to say, but I want to use this Zonai piece instead. There's going to be a moment where the next thing you're going to want to say is, that's stupid, that's dumb, you shouldn't do that. I follow that strategy. How could you not do it my way? And you got to stop and realize, oh shit, my ego was going to make me say some stuff because I thought that my way of doing it was better. And by her saying she wants to do it her way, it makes me feel as though she's disregarding my way because my way is a bad way. And so in order to counteract that, I got to go double hard on why my way is so great. If you would just not be so devoted to your way having to be the only way to do things, you will find that your relationships get a lot easier. That's the truth, is that how you think about things and how she thinks about things is different. And sometimes how she thinks about things is not any better or worse than how you thought about them, how she's operating, how she's going about making decisions on you and your relationship, or how she feels about what you said about something. Like maybe you weren't in the wrong, maybe she did something a certain way, but like just you being aware of like, maybe this is why she felt this certain way about that. And you know what? I can't fault how, based on her experience, she'd feel that way. I just got to know, okay, that's how she feels about it. How do I want to move going forward? If you are just more aware that your way is not the end all be all way, and that this other person of their own accord has ways to go about the world, it's going to make dating a lot easier. Because here's the thing, in a day-to-day relationship, you're going to need that skill set. There's going to be times where like, you're going to want a helpmate, right? And you want your helpmate to clean the kitchen. And you walk in the kitchen and the way she cleaned it is not the way you wanted it done. Do you get mad at her for it? Or are you just happy that she's willing to be a helpmate and you can figure out the rest later? Because those kind of things are going to consistently come up. And I think women test this early on in the dating process by being the ones that will disagree with you a little bit or maybe be overly emotional about something to see how you're going to react. Because most women, when they give a differing opinion, guys want to get all in on them. When they say they want to do something different, guys want to bash them for their ways being dumb or silly. And women don't want that. Women want a guy that, that she knows he's going to be different, but at least is going to be respectful of whatever her process is. And that doesn't be of every single thing, but that's be of enough things to where she's not going to feel dumb around you for operating the way that she does. That's my real answer. That's how and you have to be aware of that, because I think with self-awareness, we get so in our egos about things, we're not even aware that our reactions to things are the result of our years of how we grew up, and that our responses to things at times could be wrong or could be toxic or could not be helpful for situations. All right. So just always have this thought in mind. Before you're about to react to anything your girl does or says or whatever, stop and think, but is her perspective the wrong one? Or if we were to go with the thing she said, would that be the worst thing in the world? Or I want to respond in this way, but if I respond this way, what are the repercussions going to be? If I say this comment, it's a sarcastic comment and it's going to be a little jab at her, but will that jab have long-term effects that I don't want? If you just take a 5-second pause before you respond to anything, that in and of itself will allow you to do enough of a thought exercise to really get into whether or not you should do these things. That's the best way to really be more self-aware, all right? And also, in terms of being self-aware, you got to be aware that up to this point, maybe you haven't been the most self-aware, and that you could stand to be a little bit more patient in your decisions. This goes in terms of the pace at which you're dating. Maybe you could be a little bit slower. Maybe you could, maybe you could wait 2 or 3 months before you try to have a conversation about being a boyfriend or girlfriend. Be aware that how you've been responding up to this point and how you've been doing things, if you're not getting the results in dating that you want, that they could potentially be wrong, or that there could be a better way to go about doing them that could get you better results. And that's why I got a whole website. So if you need help with that, go to introvertdatingsuccess.com. I'd love to help you out. All right. That's all I got for today's show. Thank you all so much for checking in. We do the show every Tuesday at 3:30. Leave comments on videos, guys, during the course of the week. And also you can write me at HarryWilmington@gmail.com. I will answer those questions on the next week's show. And then if you guys have more dire concerns, sign up for one-on-one coaching. I'd love to help you with your dating situation on a phone consultation, which will help you get eons beyond where you're at now, right?
You's a bad boy, but you can't stop, won't stop. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class man. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class man. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class man. You a high-class man. You a high-class man. You a high-earning.